Hello everybody, welcome back to Simulated Heaven, and I have a new game for you, a racing simulation game. I've actually owned this game for quite a long time now. I would say it might even be a year and a half, I can't remember, but quite a while even. This is a game which is made by the same guy who makes Kart Racing Pro. He goes by the name Piboso. So he's actually making 3 games right now. This game, Kart Racing Pro, and also a game called GP Bikes. GP Bikes, it seems, is making waves in the bike simulation racing field. It seems to be doing pretty well. I personally have not been able to get it to work, but I'll look into it more. I mean, I can actually get the game to work, but I can't work out how to actually control the bikes. It's actually a proper like simulation and stuff. As we all already know, Kart Racing Pro is amazing. If you want a kart simulator, that game is amazing, and I'm going to do a video in the hopefully not too distant future of that game, like the latest update of that game, like to show you guys how that has progressed. But yeah, so I thought I would actually take a look at his other game, World Racing Series. Obviously it's a racing simulation. So basically it's in beta 5, and it's kind of like a bare bones thing. It has the basics are there obviously, but the only content that you get as part of the game is you get, I think, 4 cars or 3 cars. Yeah, 4 cars. And ignore the paints. I've actually added in extra paints, like modded paints that I got on their website. Actually, the paints that you get by default, they look like this, and they're a bit boring. They're okay, but you know, it kind of makes it a bit realistic, a bit more realistic if you have these extra modded paints. So we got an F2 style, an F3 style, and again I'll show you, I have another interesting paint I added, and we have a hatchback which they call the RX. It looks like a Ford Fiesta, but they can't obviously call it a Ford Fiesta. And then finally they have what looks like a BM3 series, but they just call it a GT. I don't really know how these games can actually get away with basically having a car that looks exactly the same as a real life car, but just kind of calling it something else. I think it might be because they're quite small, you know, so they don't really bother with them, if you know what I mean. Like if this was a big AAA game that had a car in it that looked exactly like a real car, I'm pretty sure they would be hearing from the manufacturer fairly soon. Yes, this is like the BM3 series style of car. I'm going to show you first the F2. I like the F2 because it's a little bit underpowered, which kind of suits my driving skill quite well. And the only track you get as part of the game, now first of all, actually you can race online, as you can see, but there's no one online. It's kind of a shame. I would say that about half a year ago, or about a year ago, around, you know, a while ago, let's say a while ago, there were actually people online, but it seems to have completely died off because unfortunately the development of this game is very slow. Piboso is just one guy on his own, and he's developing three games, so you can imagine it's been quite slow. There's only one track that you get as part of the game. You get Victoria Circuit as part of the game. Yeah, it's okay, but it's kind of not very exciting because it's the track, but there are not a lot of buildings or scenery really. You know, it's quite a basic thing. However, there are actually a few modded tracks this is not all of them. I'm going to show you Mo Sport. Let's look at the settings. Okay, so let's start with a dry and clear. A dry and clear Mo Sport, and then I'll actually show you the wet weather driving a bit later because it's kind of cool. Okay, so let's just... Oh, you know what I'm going to do first? Because it will help my driving, because I'm a noob. I'm going to go in the garage and I'm going to put on the soft... Oh, it's already on the soft tyres. I think I must have maybe set that already. Okay. So, here we go. Now, there's actually a couple of driving views. There's this driving view. And the other one that you just saw that looks like that. Now, I would have to say first of all that I think that Piboso really owes a lot to the team of modders that he has. I mean, it's not a big community really, but they're actually, you know, really making this game a lot more interesting. Like, imagine if we just had the one track and, you know, without the paints I have here, it would make this game seem a lot more boring, you know. Anyway, so I think that the graphics, if you're a graphics whore, I would say this isn't a game for you. I mean, the game looks okay, but it does look a bit R Factor 1-ish. Might even be less than R Factor 1, you know what I mean? And I slowed down way too early there. This is a great track, by the way. I love this track. I've driven it a lot in iRacing. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I would say that the graphics are nice. Obviously not amazing, but you know, they do the job. I am not really one for amazing graphics. I mean, if a game has amazing graphics or not, it doesn't really bother me. It's more about the experience of driving, you know, and the gameplay itself. And I suppose when we're looking at a title like this in beta, we're basically looking at the potential, aren't we? So I suppose the biggest factor obviously is how does the game feel, how do the cars feel, how do they drive. And I have to say, it is pretty impressive. I am pretty impressed with the force feedback. I get a nice, strong force feedback. And I can feel, you know, the bumps in the road. I mean, okay, this is a modded track. It doesn't have that many bumps in the road. I suppose you could say that's a problem they have. Obviously, it's not like iRacing where you feel every single bump. I mean, obviously, a game like this is not going to be able to laser scan a track. As you can see, the handling is pretty awesome on these cars. You know, you can really feel. I mean, I would say that with these cars, the tyre model is pretty good in these cars, in the Formula cars. You can actually feel through your wheel when the wheels are starting like to lose a bit of traction. You can actually feel it in the wheel, you know. So the force feedback and the tyre model, I think, is pretty impressive. I mean, it certainly is not up there with R Factor 2, and it's not up there with Assetto Corsa, but it's not too far off. Not too bad. Pretty good. I mean, I would say this is higher than, say, Race Room Experience. I mean, I would actually compare this game to something like Game Stock Car Extreme. The feeling I get from this game is pretty similar to Game Stock Car Extreme. Maybe, you know, I mean, obviously it's not quite as developed as that game, so you could say it's a bit like a Game Stock Car Extreme without all of the content that you get in that game. But yeah, the physics and the handling, force feedback, the tyre model feel pretty amazing. Like I would say, I'm going to show you a GT car, but for some reason I think the tyre model he's using works a lot better with the Formula cars, you know, with the open wheel cars. So I have actually driven a GT cars quite a bit, and I find the tyre model does not feel quite as good with the GT cars. I don't quite know why that is, but the Formula cars, like, I was racing around here in this car for a good hour yesterday, just doing the hot lapping, and I was enjoying it immensely because obviously it's got a nice realistic feeling, you know, and the modded track, you know, it's not the most amazing track, but it certainly helps to make you feel that the game is a bit more lively, you know. So there you go. I'm going to show you. Oh, I'm just going to do one more lap. It is pretty fun. Yeah, let's do one more lap without doing a lot of talking. See if we can maybe do a good lap. A reasonable lap. Let's say a reasonable lap. Let's not say a good lap. Let's say a reasonable lap. I think the sounds are pretty alright as well. They've got some pretty good sounds. Again, I wouldn't say anything groundbreaking. You know, obviously, I would say the best thing about this game is the physics, the force feedback, and in these cars, the tyre model. I could never get this corner right. You know, and I could feel the wheel being slightly pulled as soon as the wheels start losing traction. It is pretty cool. But I mean, I think the bottom line is, would I recommend you go out and buy this game? This game right now is €22, and you will get access to this game and also the GP bikes as well. So the question is it worth it? I mean, I would say it's worth it to support this guy, because this is an amazing guy in the sim racing field. Like, the fact that he is all on his own and he is making these games, and they're pretty impressive, I have to say. You know, I think it's worth it just to support the guy. But, you know, if I'm brutally honest, right now, unless you're really interested in GP bikes, because obviously if you're interested in GP bikes, to get this in GP bikes for €22 is pretty good. But if you're not really interested in that, if you're just buying it for this game, I would say that for €22 right now, it's not worth it right now. Obviously, I was earlier comparing this game to GameStop Kart Extreme. Excuse me. And obviously, right now, I would say that GameStop Kart Extreme is far ahead of this game, just purely because of the content. Really, I mean, the driving feels pretty similar, but in terms of content, then obviously GameStop Kart Extreme is right up there, and it's really good value, really. Whereas, you know, I would say that this is a game that you should maybe keep an eye on. There is actually a demo, so you can have a go at the demo for free, and then if you do buy a license, the license will unlock all of the features, but there is actually a demo. So I would say, if you're interested in sim racing, I would go and check out the demo. And I would say it's a game you should really keep an eye on for the future. It's not really worth it right now, but I would certainly keep an eye on it. I mean, if this guy does with this game like anything like he did with Kart Racing Pro, then this game is going to be pretty amazing in the end. You know, I kind of feel this guy is kind of spreading himself a bit too thin. I think he should really focus on one or maybe two games, but to have 3 games. I mean, okay, I think all of his games are sharing a lot of assets and things, but still, I feel if, you know, the progress on all of his games is very slow. So I feel if he was just to focus on one, then I feel that he would actually, you know, be able to progress that game a lot faster, you know, because obviously this game is lagging behind a lot of the other games out there that you could be playing, such as Assetto Corsa. I mean, really, Assetto Corsa is not that much more expensive than this game, and obviously it's a much more finished game. And like I said, we've got GameStop Kart Extreme. I mean, R-Factor 2, if you buy the online, is quite a lot more expensive than this, but even if you buy like the offline version, that obviously has a lot more content. So yeah, this game is lagging behind, and I'm sure if you give this guy more, well, a lot more time, a few years, I would say, he'll probably be able to make this into a decent game, but don't expect anything anytime soon. You know, it is gonna take this guy rather a long time. Okay, so let's show you. I would like to show you, let's go back. I would like to show you the exact same thing, but this time in the wet. Whoops, what am I doing? So, the same thing, this time rainy. Yeah, let's do 100%, why not? Because I feel that this game is really enjoyable when it is raining. You know, I feel that it just, I don't know, it just feels very, very good in the wet. I mean, again, the graphics of the, you know, the wet track looks kind of funny, but again, that's because it's a modded track. Actually, to be fair, I have used the one track that actually comes with the game, Victoria. I did also drive that in the wet, and you can see that the water on the track on his track looks a bit more dynamic. Obviously, the modded ones, they don't have that dynamic stuff, but still, I enjoy racing this game in the wet. You know, it kind of makes it a bit more of a challenge, but I do like the way the game feels in the wet. So it is definitely a feature, and I think that all of you guys have realised already that I do, for some reason, I really like driving in this view, which is quite rare. Usually when I play any racing game, I usually play in the cockpit view, but for some reason this game, I do rather like this view. I mean, you know, the cockpit view is pretty nice, but for some reason I just really like racing in the other view in this game. So let's do a lap in the wet here, just to show you all of the effects and everything. You can see my pro driving in the wet. That was a bit of a mess in the wet, wasn't it? And obviously after this I'll show you the GT car. Like I said, I'm not as interested. I mean, it's quite weird because usually I really like GT cars, but for some reason in this game I don't like how they feel. The Formula cars in this game feel amazing. I mean, it might be because, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he has taken a lot of the things directly out of Kart Racing Pro and added them into this game, and obviously altered them slightly for the larger vehicles, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's why the open wheel cars, which you could argue are more like karts, why they feel a lot nicer than the GT car. I just, in the GT car, I just don't get the same level of feeling, you know. Whoa, 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 whoa! So there you go, just to show you that the car can spin out. There is physics in the game. Lol. So let's just show you a little bit of the replay with all the rain effects and everything. You know, the game obviously is, like I said at the beginning, you know, the graphics are not a major point, but you know, it's not awful. I mean, I think it's just a shame there's not that many people who are online, really, because I think if there was more online, this game would actually be a lot more interesting, you know, because basically the content is not really there, so all that you are really doing is hot lapping against yourself. There is actually a statistics page, but I believe that's only for online. I think the statistics are only online because you use your online account for that. Okay, so let's go back, and I'm just going to quickly go back and show you the GT car. Right, so testing. Why don't I show you Spa? But I'm not very good at Spa. I've not really practiced it like at all, so I'll be really bad there. But I'll just show you that track. I'm going to show you the GT, the M3 style car quickly, just so you've seen a lot of the content available. And I would say as well that this game was relatively easy for me to set up my steering wheel and everything. It seemed fairly easy to get it all working. The only thing I would say is that the force feedback itself needed quite a lot of tweaking, you know. I had to like tweak the force feedback a fair bit for it to actually feel as good as it can feel. Okay, so we are at Spa. As you can see, you know, the modded vehicles, the modded vehicles, oh dear. Oh, because it's raining, I forgot to turn off the rain. And I have a feeling I'm on, yeah, look, I've got hard tyres on, whoops. Oh dear, gotta laugh. You gotta laugh, haven't you? Let's try that again, shall we? Yeah, the modded tracks really do add a lot, because I mean, I haven't shown you Victoria, the original one, but seriously, it just looks empty. So at least these ones add a bit of feeling, a bit of realism into the game. I mean, it's like I said earlier, you can see that graphically it is not amazing, this game, but certainly when you have someone who is making a track which is at least a bit more, you know, has a bit more life about it. So here we go. I believe this car has got 6 gears. Yeah, just checking. And we're already off the track. That was a great start. Lol. And I'm stuck. I did warn you guys, didn't... Oh, replay. Okay, let's show you... no, I think because this is a modded track, it seems kind of messed up with the replay, so sorry about that. I did warn you guys that I'm going to be really bad at this, and it doesn't help that it's wet as I forgot to turn off the rain effects. But yeah, like, I don't know, the GT cars, I mean, it might just be that I'm really bad at the GT cars. I don't know. I mean, I tried the GT cars first in this game for quite a bit, and I thought they were good, but I don't know, didn't have the same feeling in the tyre model. It's like I said earlier, the tyre model for the Formula cars is pretty amazing, pretty good. But the GT cars, you don't have the same level of feeling, in my opinion. I felt like I braked really early last time, and I still went off the track. So I'm going to be like a baby here, just babying it around here. But yeah, I don't know, like, with the Formula cars, when the tyres are losing grip, you actually feel it. Whereas in this, I don't know, I just don't get the same level of feeling. I mean, it might be that I need to tweak the force feedback more for this car, but I already worked on that quite a bit. I mean, it doesn't feel bad, but it just if you directly compare with the Formula car, in my opinion, it's nowhere near as fun because of the fact that you just don't feel as much. There's more of a feeling that you're just driving on ice without that much feeling through the tyres. The force feedback is still really good. The tyres are just really not there if you were to compare with the Formula car. So I think that is something that Piboso needs to work on. There's actually a lot of things he needs to work on. Like I said, it's kind of a shame that he's decided to have 3 games rather than just 1 game, and finish the games one at a time. It's a good job there's a runoff area there. I'm not going to drive that much on this track because obviously I'm not very good. Haven't really practiced this at all. Just wanted to quickly show you another modded track, show you the GT cars. But I'm not going to be driving this a lot. Just show you what it's like a little bit. Hopefully I might be able to find a replay that works. Then you can obviously see the exterior of this car. Okay, I think we're good. I don't really want to do a lot of racing in this, like I said, just to show you it briefly. Okay, let's see if it will show me a replay on this track. I might have to change the camera. The problem is there is not really an exterior one that I can remember. Yeah, because it's a modded track. There are some onboard ones, which is alright. But I kind of wanted to show you guys the exterior of the car, really. Yeah. Which I don't think we're going to see because, like I said, the track is a modded one. Well, you can kind of see it a bit there. Not very much. Ah, free roam? No. Free. Oh, here we go. Can we... Oh, yeah, there you go. You can kind of see it, although I can't really show you the whole car. There probably is a way to... Yeah, oh well. Okay guys, so thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I have explained relatively concisely about my feelings about this game. Of course, everyone will have their own feelings. I mean, the best way that you can actually find out about this game is to go and have a go at the demo yourself and come up with your own conclusions. I will put a link in the description for the website of the game. There's also a forum there, so you can have a look on the forum if you're interested in any of the modded tracks and paints that I was using. So thank you for watching. If you have any specific questions, please leave a comment and I will try to get back to you. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.